Hi friends, thanks for clicking over and spending some time with me today. I do appreciate that. And if you're new here, hello, my name is Jill, and this is going to be a recap video of my Zepbound weight loss journey for the past couple of months. So if you've not watched any of my other videos, this is a good one to kind of get caught up to speed. But before I share that, I just wanted to kind of give a little bit of my backstory and how I ended up here. So I am 43 years old. I have 10 kids. My oldest is 23 and my youngest is 3. And in case you're wondering, because I get this a lot, yes, they're all mine, and no, there are no twins in there. So my oldest 2 are out of the house and I still have 8 living at home. So definitely still pretty busy and chaotic. But as far as my weight goes, I actually never had a problem with my weight growing up. In fact, I was super skinny as a kid, and I was even teased for being so skinny. But when I got married, I was 20 years old and I weighed about like 105 pounds, so really skinny. Even after having several kids, I still managed to, I did gain a little bit of weight, but I still managed to get right back down to like 120, 115 with like hardly any effort, like no exercise or anything. I would just lose the baby weight. I didn't even need maternity clothes. I would fit into like all my regular clothes. With my jeans, I would just like unbutton them and, you know, it would be okay. It started to change a little bit after I had my 5th baby. That was when the weight started to kind of creep up a little bit, and it wasn't a lot and it wasn't like fast or anything. It was actually really slow but steady. So basically it would look like maybe me not losing all the baby weight and holding on to a couple of pounds, and that may not seem like a lot, but obviously I had several more pregnancies. So even if I had, you know, held on to 5 pounds for each pregnancy, that alone would put me at like a 25-pound weight gain. And that's not including, obviously I was gaining weight in between pregnancies. Again, only a couple of pounds, but it added up. So fast forward to 2020, that was the year my last baby was born. And of course, that was just a very stressful year for everybody. And we were also getting ready to sell our house that we had lived in for 20 years. And it was a really stressful time between all of that, an infant and COVID, and it was crazy, and it was definitely stress eating for sure. However, that kind of paled in comparison to the damage I was able to do in 2023, particularly the very end of 23 going into the beginning of this year. So to put in perspective, I had gone to the doctor and basically she wasn't happy with some of my numbers. My blood pressure was in the normal range, but it was high for me, and my liver enzymes were slightly elevated. She just didn't like the look of things. And so she basically gave me a follow-up appointment, and I was supposed to, in that time, make lifestyle changes. So I was supposed to eat better and I was supposed to be moving more. I didn't do that, and I failed miserably at that, because from November to February, I actually gained 24 pounds, which is so crazy to even say. I don't even know how. I mean, I know how I did that, but it still does not seem possible. But my binge eating was completely just out of control. I felt completely powerless to stop it, and that may sound crazy, but I just felt like it was almost like an out-of-body experience. I wasn't starving, but I was still eating. I was still binging on everything. And so I was eating past the point of being full. I was eating to the point of being in pain, and yet still looking for things to eat. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but really I just truly felt like I needed help. Like I was Googling things. I was on Google searching like food addictions, how to break a food addiction. I couldn't stop eating, and that still feels embarrassing to say, but I just could not stop eating. And it was during one of those Google searches that I came across a website called Copilot, and they have since changed their name. I'm not sure what it is now, but I'll link it because It was a great website in case you want to check it out. But anyway, you answer some questions and they pair you with a personal trainer that would be a good fit for you. And then the next step is you do a Zoom call and you discuss like your goals, what you're hoping to achieve, and they kind of assess your fitness level, or in my case, lack thereof. And anyhow, they make a exercise program specifically tailored to you. So they ask you questions like, if you have any limitations or, things like that. My trainer was great. She started me off with body weight exercises only, and I was doing that three times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I have to say I was very consistent with it, and I really appreciated the accountability that I was getting. She would check in on me. She would, like, if she saw the day was kind of slipping away and I hadn't done my workout, she would, text me and say, hey, do you think you could still squeeze in that workout? Or, she was just great. If I had questions, she was quick to reply and get back to me. If I couldn't do an exercise, she would send a video showing me how I can modify it. And I absolutely loved the app. But again, I didn't lose any weight during that time, like at all. And obviously it was because I was completely out of control with the binge eating. And so that sounds pretty bad that I had like a personal trainer for whatever it was, 2.5 months, and I didn't lose anything. But I just did not have my eating under control. And so when my appointment rolled around, I was so close to canceling because I felt so embarrassed. I didn't want to be rude, canceling the appointment like a day or two before. And so I just decided to face the music. But I'm so glad I did, because that was when I got started on Zepbound. So when I started, it was the end of February. It was February 22nd, and I was 214 pounds. And I have this all written down because there was no way I was going to remember. And I got down to 191 pounds. So that was a total of 15 pounds that first month. So I was absolutely thrilled. I should mention actually that I did cancel my Copilot membership when I started the medication, not because I didn't love it, but I just felt like it was definitely worth the $100, but then I had the copay for the medication, and I was going to be spending money on my protein powders and trying to like buy better food. And I just felt guilty that I was spending all that money on myself. And so I canceled it with like the idea that I would continue the exercises on my own. But that ended up not happening. But anyhow, regardless, I still absolutely love the app and would highly recommend it to anybody. And I'm not affiliated in any way with them. But anyhow, that was my first month. So my first month, I basically didn't move at all. Like there wasn't any, other than like household things. I wasn't exercising, walking, or doing anything. But I still lost 15 pounds because I finally had the eating under control. My second month, I was feeling guilty that I wasn't doing any kind of exercise. And so I started the walking challenge. And I did that because I knew I needed the accountability. And some of you guys joined me on that. And it was great because we would touch base on the community tab and just kind of keep each other accountable. And I really appreciated that. That month, I lost 8 pounds. I went from 199 to 191. Month 3, I continued the walking challenge, and I also bought a walking pad, which was an absolute game changer because I had initially wanted to walk outside and get fresh air and vitamin D, but between the bugs and the weather, it was really hard to kind of find the time to do that. So having a walking pad was it just made it so much easier and more sustainable actually. So I actually did a video on that. If you're looking for a walking pad, you can check that out. I'll link that in the description box, but I'm very happy with my walking pad. It's small and it fits under the couch. It wasn't a lot of money. I think I paid like $200 for it. And honestly, it's held up great. So my kids even get on it and fool around on it, and it's held up. So no complaints there whatsoever. So again, if you're looking for a walking pad, you can check that out. It does have a lot of good reviews, so I felt confident buying it. But anyhow, that was month 3. So I started at 191 and I got down to 181. So I lost 10 pounds that month. Month 4 was interesting. That was when I hit my first stall, like my first plateau. I started the month at 181 and I finished the month at 181. So Not a whole lot of progress as far as weight loss goes. I did start strength training that month though. So basically, I knew I needed to do this. I just couldn't motivate myself for whatever reason until my friend Taisha from Simply Taisha, she challenged me in a friendly way. She started Zepbound the same week as me, and she started strength training right away from like the very beginning, but she wasn't walking, so she wasn't getting those steps in. And I wasn't strength training, but I was walking, and so she kind of challenged me to start strength training, and she would start walking. So of course she killed it, and she's been walking like 6 days a week, like for an hour. So she's doing great, fitting in both. I, however, couldn't really manage both. And so I kind of gave up on the walking so I can concentrate and focus on the strength training. But I absolutely do miss the walking and do plan on getting back into it. It's just that, well, honestly, now that we have the pool, I love that my kids love the pool and that they want to be in it all the time. But it just, if they're in the pool, I have to be out there watching. And so it does kind of take away some of the time that I would have to do these other things. But I know, I guess I'm making an excuse because if there's a will, there's a way. When there's a will, there's a way. And I could absolutely squeeze in a walk in the evening. I haven't done it. So I need to work on that for sure. I'm going to work on that. But month 4, I will say I was proud that even though I wasn't seeing progress like week to week, that I still stuck with my strength training and my routine. I was just proud that I stuck with the program, even though I wasn't actually seeing results. So that was month 4. And then month 5, I started at 181 and I got down to 173. So I lost again 8 pounds, and not a whole lot happens that month. Trying to remember, I think pretty much just sticking with my routine, experimenting a lot with cottage cheese recipes, finding ways of incorporating that just to get some extra protein. But other than that, not a whole lot. And then that brings me to where I am today. So I think I lost track. I think I'm 2 or 3 weeks into my 6th month. So my last video I shared, I was 169 pounds, and that was right before we went away on vacation. And I weighed myself this morning and I was 168 pounds. So I lost a pound in a week, and I'm very happy with that because of course it was on vacation. So the fact that I even lost on vacation is a huge thing for me. And I'm very happy to be in the 160s. Definitely very happy with that. Altogether, I have lost a total of 46 pounds on Zepbound, and I am absolutely so thrilled and ecstatic about that. And honestly, I'm also really proud of myself too, because this is the first time in my life that I've ever been this consistent with anything. So yes, I'm taking a weight loss injection, and that absolutely helps. But I'm also putting in the work. I'm not just sitting passively and just kind of letting, the fat melt off or whatever it is people think. I'm making better food choices. I'm meal prepping. I'm finding the time to work out. And I say finding the time, and that's the wrong way. It's making the time, because it's not like the time is there and you just stumble upon it, It's hard. You have to fight for it because we're all busy and we all have a million things pulling at us and a lot of things that we have going on, and it's hard juggling all of that. But unless you make a commitment to yourself, you're never gonna find the time to exercise. It's not gonna happen. And as women, we tend to put ourselves last. And for so many years, I did that while raising my kids, and I don't regret that or anything like that. It just comes with the territory of being a mom. But I'm at the point now in my life where I realize I have to put myself first. I have to make the time to do this, because if I hope to be around for my kids and my grandkids, that's not going to happen if I'm not healthy. And so I heard somewhere a while ago that you don't see too many 90-year-old people walking around that are obese. And it's so true. Like, most of the time, anybody who's in their 90s, they may have some health issues, obviously, but obesity is not one of them. So, we only have one body and one life, and I need to do my part to make sure that I'm around as long as I possibly can. And exercising is a big part of that. So my advice to you, if you're on this journey and you haven't made exercise a part of that, that you commit to doing that, because you're absolutely going to reap the benefits of it. And honestly, it has to be something that's sustainable. So in the past, I would set out with these grand ideas of how I was going to exercise, and I would do this in the morning, and then I would walk, and then I would do 100 sit-ups, and you know, it just wasn't sustainable. I didn't have the mental or physical energy to do it, and I would fall off the wagon, you know, in a couple of days or maybe a couple of weeks if I was lucky. It needs to be something that's doable. So if you could only do 3 days a week, then you only do 3 days a week. Whatever it is, whether it's strength training or walking or something else, find something that you don't hate, but then stick to it. So for me, I absolutely hate cardio. I don't like it at all. You will never catch me doing like a high intensity workout. So I don't do that. If I had to do that 5 days a week, I would wash out because I absolutely hate it. So find something that you don't hate, that you're kind of okay with, and stick with that. And chances are you're actually going to develop, maybe not a love for it, but you'll end up liking it. And I guess I could only speak for myself, but when I started strength training, I didn't love it, and I still don't love it, but I actually do enjoy it. So now I don't want to miss my workouts because I enjoy it. And I also don't want to miss my workouts because I've been consistent. So I don't want to break my streak. But that is not going to happen unless you you find something that you don't hate, and you also come up with a schedule or something that you can do that's doable. Don't set out with these big ideas, because if you're anything like me, you know, you're just going to wash out. So consistency is huge. It's a big part of being successful. So I'm going to close with that because, of course, it's a sunny day and my kids are waiting to go in the pool. So I will be back next week with another video, and I hope you have a good rest of your week. Bye.